So first of all, WATCH'S is not a company. It's just a project of our software company, Exonic. We started it a couple of months ago.
Welcome back, everybody, to another Tech Times exclusive interview. Today, we are stepping into the NFT realm again with CEO and founder Martin Welker. His company is WATCH'S, which is something that, as if you've watched this channel, you know I'm not super familiar with. So Martin is here today to kind of attempt to give an explanation that laymen like myself can maybe better understand. So Martin, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So first, let's jump right in. Just tell us about your company first, WATCH'S.
Yeah. So first of all, WATCH'S is not a company. It's just a project of our software company, Exonic.
Okay.
We started it a couple of months ago. I was a collector. I've bought my first CryptoPunk in March last year. And I'm more a doer than I am an investor or a collector. And we wanted to learn about the whole space and have a deep dive. And we decided to do our own NFT collection, which was not so easy to choose from because we didn't want to start another PFP profile picture 10,000 items project. We wanted to do something with a more technical aspect. And after a couple of weeks, we found it accidentally. And what we found was we can create dynamical NFTs in contrast to static JPEGs, as you all know. And we made some prototypes, and voila, there were ticking watches, and we were very excited about them. And after a couple of iterations, we thought, okay, this could be really a big thing because, well, we're not really interested in a project. We wanted to do something more long-term. Not a little bit long term, but we are a software vendor. We think in decades, not in years. And so we thought, could this be a new brand? Could this be a new virtual first brand in contrast to the traditional watchmakers like Rolex and Patek Philippe, etc., etc. And day by day, we were more and more sure that this could be really a chance for us to go into this whole luxury and fashion and passion area. And then we started with the designs. We have a female lead designer, Sylvie, and we made a few battles, very constructive battles about how we wanted the new watches to look like. Should it be just clones of the, you know, the traditional steel watches, or should it be something new, like the difference between gasoline cars and electric cars, right? They don't need a tank anymore. So this is also the opportunity, the chance to do something new. And we decided to do something new. And we came up with really unique designs. And the first time I saw this on the screen, I was so flashed away that I said, okay, let's go all in and build something with it.
Right. And from what I understand, your most recent collection did really, really well.
Yeah, right. It was our recent collection, but not our first collection. The first collection only consisted of 17 watches. We wanted just proof to us, and and we wanted really like a first test. And we made 17 watches, and they were working, and everyone was really excited about it. And then a couple of weeks later, thanks COVID for that, we wanted to make it a little bit sooner. But some of us get ill, but we managed to release at the beginning of this year. And we sold 3,240, 34,
34, I think. Yeah.
2, 3, 4 watches. In about 34 minutes, I guess, like under 40 minutes. That was really, that was mind-changing for us. We didn't expect this.
Right. Yeah. That's very, very interesting. I'm curious though, since you're, like you said, the first 17 watches were kind of dip our toe in to see how the water is type thing. And then you was like, all right, we're going to do it for real. We're going to do over 1,000 watches. Me, as someone obviously not closely affiliated to your company and the Meta watches, I'm curious as to 1,234, first major rollout. Would the next major rollout be maybe 5,678? Or I thought it kind of had a very watch theme.
There were heavy discussions in our team how big the size of the collection should be. I started with a very naive assumption that 10K is a good number, because every big major project like CryptoPunks, Bored Ape, Yacht Club, etc., they were all 10K. But then we came to the conclusion that this is not the time anymore to do this, and we wanted to make sure that the demand and the supply are in a good balance. If it's not in the balance, then the supply should be shorter than the demand, right, to make it more exclusive, because we don't want our holders to buy something and then we don't sell out and they like the value decreases. We didn't want that. Right. Speaking of value, NFTs are in Germany. We are a German-based company. We are not allowed to call it an investment. We don't are allowed to talk about values here. But at the end of the day, you buy a piece of art, you buy an NFT, and you don't want to decrease want to see the value decrease you don't want to see this on the next corner for half the price. Mm-hmm. That's basically it, and we managed this pretty good. The floor price for the Meta watches are now higher than the mint price, and that's a very good sign for us. We are very happy about this.
Yeah, it sounds very exciting.
And to your original question, will the next collection be 5K watches or something? And we're very aware that there should not be an inflation of watches. But on the other hand, if you see Rolex, for example, one of the most exclusive brands in the world, and very it's a very high prestige brand, they release rumor says like 800,000 watches a year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, that's a really huge number. It was really I was really shocked to hear about this number. But the world is so big outside, so big, and so many people out there who want to have something like that. So the bar is very high. If we do 10,000 watches, 20,000 watches a year, the metaverse is still very, very big, and there are many people floating into the metaverse, and you can't just walk without a meta watch in the metaverse, right? You need one.
Yeah.
In style.
So what does make Meta watches unique in this NFT space? I understand, it's a first of its kind, and please correct me if I'm wrong, but there are no duplicates. Considering Rolex, they roll out 800,000, but that's not 800,000 unique designs, correct?
Right. When you talk about NFT projects, you talk about these numbers like 1,000, 10,000, or whatever. They are mostly generated from an algorithm which combines several traits and put together one piece. So So also the Bored Ape Yacht Clubs or the CryptoPunks, they are all unique for themselves. And so is the same with our watches. Our generator would have thrown out 50,000 watches if we wanted him to. So it's for an algorithm, it's pretty easy to create unique items.
Right.
But yeah, that's the case. Are there other competitors or are there other watchmakers? Sure, there will be.
Right.
And why not? I think it's always good to have some people who are in the same market as yourself. We already know some of them. They are nice guys. They have seen the same thing, right? And that's a good valuation for our own idea. So we don't see any problems with it. I think we were the first one who really put out dynamic watches into the NFT space. This was kind of important for us, and whoever follows is highly welcome in the market. Let's see.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Competition is definitely not a bad thing. You know, it's a great thing not only for innovation but also for consumers. So you know, it's a welcome challenge, I guess, would be maybe a good way to put it.
We are a software vendor. We are in the productivity business. ZenKit, that's our main productivity suite. It's in the battlefield with many billion valuated other companies. That's so we are very used to this situation. And the NFT space is so open right now. It's really a blue ocean, and it's only your speed and your imagination, your creativity who sets the limits. It's not competition.
Right, absolutely, exactly. Yeah. The metaverse is something that is incredibly exciting. You know, it feels almost as if, you know, not almost as if, an entire new world has opened. And that world needs, you know, retail shops, and that world needs residents, obviously. You know, it's a very exciting time, especially for those of us that are into, you know, tech and everything, and experiencing the growth. So with that being said, do you think that the opening of the metaverse, you know, whether it be from, you know, the guy in California or whether it be from whoever, do you think that will accelerate the NFT's popularity? Because for me personally, if I may, a caveat, for me personally, the problem I see with NFTs are they're not only are they non-fungible, they're almost non-tangible. Right. So, but I feel like in the metaverse, you know, you can actually enjoy your art or your watch just as if you would in the real world.
So, first of all, I'm not an expert.
Right.
And whoever claims he is an expert or she is an expert in NFT or the metaverse, I would be pretty alert, because right now, apart from 2 or 3 mentions of the word metaverse years ago, this is a brand new thing.
Right.
And when you said we need retail shops in the metaverse, and after this you said we also need some people to go into the metaverse. Right? I would start with this, right?
Right.
If you now go walking around in Decentraland, you will barely see anyone.
Right.
But the question is, how will it be in the future, in the near future? Will we had already iterations of some forms of the metaverse. Let's say Second Life, for example.
Right.
Huge hit 10, 15 years ago. All the big brands were there. Big money was spent. Many people were in this Second Life. So why this time?
Right.
And this is not an easy question. There are no easy answers.
Right.
And no one has the answer right now. There are signs, there are indicators who lead to a possibility that there this could be the iteration where it all happens. But will it be happen with an Oculus or whatever had disrupt when Apple comes out or Google comes out with new technology? Or will it be more like a Fortnite world or a Roblox world?
Right.
No one knows it. But my personal opinion is we were so close with Second Life. And now we have not only a better technology and more people living in the remote working world, like we do this on the Zoom meeting, right? Mm-hmm. This is just an extension of our habits. We won't have to change that much of our habits. And then the real factor is NFTs for me, because NFTs is the real standard for the metaverse. What do I mean by that? When you have your Meta Watch, mm-hmm. and you have it as an NFT, that's in virtual ownership of your watch. Right. It's just a small asset, right? But you will be able to take it with you from Mark Zuckerberg mm-hmm. to whatever Epic Games will create, whatever into the Decentraland, into Sandbox, into whatever, into the Zoom meeting. Mm-hmm. And maybe the metaverse is not a room or a server or whatever, like one single 3D world. Mm-hmm. Maybe the metaverse is just the interfaces between all these worlds, because you can get more and more from your own ownership into every new world. There might be a new Sandbox in 2 years because the rendering engine's getting better and better. Right. But you take your belongings with you, and this is much more sticky than it was ever before. Like in the Second Life, you just could buy something in Second Life, and that was it. There was no exchange between the whole virtual worlds. And this is quite appealing to me.
Yeah, it's I feel like sometimes when speaking about the metaverse, I almost feel like I'm, part of Star Trek or something. They were finding new worlds and discovering new things, and things that we considered or that we consider to be maybe normal or even the limit of experience is not the limit of experience. Like there's more than just the physical world now. So, there's obviously things that are yet to be discovered. And I think you guys with Meta Watches have really stepped into a market that is, it's very unique.
Our market, I learned this from traditional watchmakers. We are talking a lot with them. They are much more open than I would have imagined from the start. Right. With Meta Watches, we are in the market for passion and emotions, mm-hmm. and you want to take them with you as well, right? We basically sell the character of a watch. Mm-hmm. It might look different in any platform. Like on a smartwatch, it looks different. Like on your phone, you can even I have it on my phone also as a screensaver. Mm-hmm. So you just can take the character and the emotion with you to every place. Right. And what the metaverses do, it's all just like technology, but the experiences you get in the metaverse, they are real.
Right.
It's a lot of wishful thinking here in the whole area. Like metaverse is just an umbrella term for the whole wishes and the whole momentum that many people want to see something new. Mm-hmm. After a decade, like what the last big thing was apps, right? And that's 20 years ago, and now they many people feel that there has to be something new now. And the metaverse is just, no one really knows what it is, but everyone wants to go forward, and they move into kind of the same direction. Right. And what we will see is everything what happens in the metaverse is real life emotions, real life feelings. Like if you have a concert, sure, you won't go there, you won't drive by car, you won't see people standing behind you, but there will be experiences which are real, and you might take even real friends from this concert with you.
Mm-hmm.
And this is something we really maybe it's worth exploring this.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's very exciting to think about, the mystery, the thought that, in a virtual world, obviously, feels like, the possibilities are endless, like you'll be able, to be much, hopefully we don't move so fast and so far that we become Matrix-like. That may not be ideal, but
no, not quite. No, I feel the same.
Mm-hmm.
I'm coming, like I was in Web 1, I was in Web 2, and now I feel that I think not like the Matrix, like more like the Tron thing.
Okay, wow, yeah.
I'm really feeling that we are now up to something new, and it's open end, and for so many years, almost for decades now, it was close end, right?
Mm-hmm.
All you can do is to build a unicorn.
Right.
That's just a number.
Mm-hmm.
There's no magic in it. There's no new experience in it. You can just ring the bell on Wall Street. That's the best experience you can have as a tech entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to live like that.
Right.
And so this is the real reason we wanted to be part of the journey. There are really heavy guys doing all this crypto infrastructure stuff.
Mm.
I'm not that guy.
Right.
I wanted to play like more like a melody. Mm. And watches and all this clothing and fashion thing, it appeals more to me to be part of this whole thing. But I can't wait to see where it's going right now after so many years of just making cloud where it's all numbers, KPIs, and the hard stuff, and now there's something new.
Right. So please, like I said, I think ignorant is the best word for me to use here. I'm fairly ignorant when it comes to even the history of NFTs and things like that. But I feel like initially it was, digital imagery, much like, a painting or, a design that a certain person has created and sold. So do you think that there is, well, obviously there's going to be a shift, but do you think it's going to happen sooner than expected with apparel and accessories, much like the Meta Watch?
So what do you think? So should I explain what I think what NFTs are, or
no, like the space from basically you see like the monkeys and those different ones. It's kind of just a square design, but what you've created with Meta Watch is something that you can actually wear it in the thing, maybe in a Zoom meeting. That I feel that's much different than.
Okay, now I get it.
Right.
Yeah. So basically, about the understanding of NFTs, how can an NFT be one, like a JPEG on the one side and a watch, a ticking watch on the other side? What's the abstract concept about these? And the answer is they are all digital assets. With NFTs, you just have a digital ownership of something,
right? Which
should be ownable virtually. So you can't have just like a digital ownership of this baseball here. Mm-hmm. That's very hard because with this NFT, you create a tradable good,
right?
And you can trade it, but you can also trade this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And they have no inner connection to each one. So I can sell the ball and I can sell the NFT. So this is pretty hard to bind with each other. Many people are trying this right now to say, okay, you can buy a car and then you have also an NFT for that. It's not really like this.
Right.
But there are so many really pure digital assets out there, like the ownership of an Instagram channel, for example, like an ownership of I don't know, whatever come, you name it.
Right.
We will find more and more business models that can be structured pure virtually,
Right.
like ownership of companies, for example. It's really, really easy to do this digitally and to save it in the blockchain. Because right now it's just so many paperwork, and you got the lawyers and you got the attorneys, whatever you have there, right. And it's still very ambiguous. You are not you have to get to a lawyer to understand what if this is a good deal or not, right?
Right. Yeah.
With containering this into contracts, in virtual contracts, it gets much more clearer. You can really understand this before you buy something, and you have instant possibilities to share a company, for example. You have the DAOs, the distributed organizations. You can take care of governance virtually, and you have many concepts. So what's NFTs really about is we will digitalize many parts of our commercial life there. And so it's for me, it was never about JPEGs.
Right.
It was always about making the next step in digitalization. We do digital transformation for companies as our main job, right? This is where our software is made for. Collaboration is digitalization, but the contracts and the establishing of a company was always in the analog world, and this will change. And this is the big step forward. And this is why I really believe that Web3 is not a hype. It's the next obvious step to go. And if the profile pictures are still there in 2 years, no one knows.
Okay, yeah, right.
This might be just a trend or a fashion or whatever. But what comes next is the digitalization of our society.
Right. Oh, yeah, that is so interesting. I think you explained it really well. I've definitely learned quite a bit throughout this discussion, and I appreciate you taking the time to not only give your opinion, but also your insight. It's very helpful to myself, especially, and I'm sure our viewers will be like, oh, yeah, okay, I get it a little more now. So thank you for that. And one last question. So what's next for the MetaWatch? You just finished the rollout. What would you say is next?
One of the main reasons we really decided to start with MetaWatches was the fact that we realized that a watch is basically a canvas. Because inside the watch, there's so many space, we have to fill it up with nice artwork, right? And we don't want to do this all ourselves. Right. We partner up with artists. We partner up with young watch designers. So and we do special collections with them very exclusively, and we already have some nice partnerships in our pipeline. And this is really exciting times because you have connections to so many great artists, and you can give them a stage, because MetaWatches it's a mini brand right now. It's an evolving brand, but it's much more easy for an artist to say, hey, cool, here's my designs, and I created some MetaWatches. And so we are also a stage for young artists. And this is basically what's next for us.
Well, that's very exciting. And, again, much like I said earlier, experiences are new. I think for young and very creative people, things like this, like you said, is another outlet, or maybe a new canvas for these intelligent and talented people to express themselves and show the world what they're capable of. And I think it's great that you are fostering this creativity. I really think that's something that shouldn't go unmentioned.
Yeah.
All right, so Martin, thank you. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but it was great speaking with you, and please feel free to come back anytime you'd like.
Sounds great.
All right.
Thanks for having me, Chris.
Absolutely.